Welcome to the Fort Riley iSportsman Outdoor Recreational Briefing. This briefing is an overview of the rules and regulations that pertain to general outdoor recreation and is not all-inclusive. Additional information and regulations you should know can be found on the Fort Riley Outdoor Recreation Map, the Regulations Summary, and on the Fort Riley iSportsman homepage under the Recreational Information tab. During this briefing, you will be prompted by a red pause button at the top left corner of your screen. You are encouraged to pause the video and read the additional information provided. The military mission has precedence over any outdoor recreational opportunities. Fort Riley or portions of it may be closed at any time without prior notice. Vehicle access to all or portions of the installation may be prohibited. However, foot traffic may still be permitted. A reminder, military training often occurs in training areas designated as open. Recreationists are required to maintain a 200-meter distance between themselves and any active body of troops, helicopters, or other military equipment. All individuals are required to have a DoD ID card or a Fort Riley Access Pass or badge on their persons while on the installation. An access pass can be obtained at the Visitor Control Center located by the Henry Gate Access Control Point off of I-70 at exit 301. Recreationists must register an account on the Fort Riley iSportsman website and acquire proper permits before recreating on the installation. You must also check in and out before and after recreating, which can be done by using any personal device with internet access, by visiting the Army One-Stop Kiosk located at the Visitor Control Center, or at the Environmental Office. A printed copy of the Fort Riley iSportsman Vehicle Pass must be displayed in the front window of vehicles being used while recreating on Fort Riley. You can print a copy of the Fort Riley iSportsman Vehicle Pass from the iSportsman website. The impact area and Douthit Range Complex are off-limits at all times. Additionally, other areas may be off-limits due to military training activities. Listings and maps of areas off-limits will be posted on the Fort Riley iSportsman website and at the Environmental Office. Prior to recreating, you must understand how to determine what areas are open, what areas are closed, and be able to distinguish those areas from each other. For recreational access north of Rubio Road, please use the old Highway 77 access point. The Douthit Range Complex access point can be used if Maneuver Area Quebec is open, but is subject to closure without notice. A copy of this map is available on the Fort Riley iSportsman website under the Maps tab. Blaze orange is required during September 1st through May 31st. All outdoor recreationists, including archery deer hunters who are not in a stationary position, must wear at least one article of blaze orange apparel. During any Fort Riley firearms deer season, all individuals recreating in areas open to firearms deer hunting must wear a blaze orange hat and at least 100 square inches of blaze orange on their front and back at all times when they are not in a vehicle or building. Please pause and read carefully some of the general requirements for hunting on Fort Riley. Additional information on regulations, requirements, and a list of hunting season dates can be found under the Recreational Information tab on the Fort Riley iSportsman homepage. Please pause and read carefully the general requirements for fishing on Fort Riley. Additional information on regulations and stocking reports can be found under the Recreational Information tab on the Fort Riley iSportsman homepage. All firearms brought on post must be registered with Fort Riley. Firearms may be registered at the Visitor Control Center. For more information about the registration process, please review the Privately Owned Firearms Guide under the Regulations tab from the Fort Riley iSportsman website and the Fort Riley Regulation 190-1. Reminder, transporting firearms on Fort Riley requires you to adhere to the specifics outlined on this slide and those detailed in Fort Riley Regulation 190-1. Please pay close attention. Please pause and read carefully the general requirements for non-consumptive outdoor activities on Fort Riley. Additional information and regulations can be found under the Recreational Information tab on the Fort Riley iSportsman homepage. The use of motorized vehicles off-road is prohibited on Fort Riley. Individuals traveling outside of the designated off-road trails outlined on the Fort Riley Outdoor Recreation map may be subject to a fine. Repeat offenses may result in suspension of all recreational activities on the installation and additional fines. Unexploded ordnance safety. Recognize, retreat, and report. Do not touch or shoot any unexploded munitions. Please report the location of any UXOs to the Fort Riley Police, Range Support, or on the Training Area Hazard Report form found under the Check-In, Check-Out tab on the Fort Riley iSportsman homepage. At the end of this briefing, you will take a short quiz. Once you have completed the briefing and passed the quiz, you will select Continue to Permits. The next screen will show you what permits are available to you. Depending on how you plan to recreate, you will choose either the Fort Riley Outdoor Recreation Permit or the Fort Riley Conservation Permit. You do not need both. Find your appropriate permit and select Add to Cart. Next, you will acknowledge that all sales are final. Select I agree and then save. Once you have acknowledged all sales are final, select View Cart and check out. Verify you have the correct permit and select Check Out. If you selected the Fort Riley Conservation Permit, you will verify your payment information and select Next Step to complete the payment process. If you selected the Fort Riley Outdoor Recreation Permit, you will repeat the same process, but will not have to enter any payment information. This permit is free. On the order confirmation window, select Confirm. Now that your order is complete, you will be able to print your permits. You must have a copy of your permit on your persons and a vehicle pass displayed in the front windshield of any vehicle being used while recreating on Fort Riley. For more detailed information regarding hunting, fishing, and other outdoor recreation, please visit the Fort Riley Environmental Office Self-Help Customer Service Room or call 785-239-6211. To report a wildlife crime, please call the Fort Riley Operation Game Plan or the Fort Riley Game Warden section. Good luck and be safe.